Listener's discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, if you're here for the pizza review, skip the first 30 minutes. First 30 minutes are the Bills podcast section. If not, enjoy the show.
Sawbills Podcast.
Welcome to episode number 2 of the Bills podcast. Do a birthday shout out to people I know today. My two father-in-laws, Frank and Dean, both share a birthday.
Happy birthday.
A shout out to Jamie Rideout. Oh, maybe not. I shouldn't say his last name, but I work with the guy, kind of. So happy birthday to them.
Happy birthday.
If you haven't listened to the first podcast, it's a podcast with friends where we review 2 pizzas at a time, and then we talk about the Bills. So please give us a follow, give us a rating, comment, follow, whatever you got to do. So, all right, let's talk about the whatever you want to call that game last night.
It was rough.
I'll piggyback off that because I do have that on top of my notes. It was impressive, the introduction. It was capturing that vibe post 9/11 of exactly what it was. I thought they did a great job honoring New York City, the World Trade Centers, the Star Spangled Banner. It was a fitting primetime game. That introduction was powerful. And I thought again, never forget. And I think the NFL, to their credit, I think they did a great job really adhering to that never forget mentality. And they get criticized for a lot, but I thought they did a great job with that production at the start with, I don't want to say pomp and circumstance, but with that introduction, I thought it was powerful and I thought it was appropriate.
I think that's a good comment. I thought they were phenomenal. New York City, crowd shows up. Now, in no way am I a Jets fan. Do I feel bad for them? A soft spot goes out to me. The fact that, you always produce a good team. You never have a good quarterback. You finally get a good quarterback, a Hall of Fame quarterback, and in 4 plays he tears his Achilles and he's done for the season. That's difficult. That's very difficult.
Yeah.
And just you can tell the whole mood of that stadium just absolutely dropped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they won the game. I understand it, but just like I heard on the radio, it's amazing that you have 2 fan bases leaving that game disappointed.
Oh yeah.
And,
I was thinking, is this like a script thing? Like they want New York to, do well on 9/11, and then Aaron Rodgers goes down. And it's like, is he going to come back and lead some amazing comeback later in the game? Or, are we going to do what we should have done and just pound the crap out of them?
Right.
And really just say, hey, it's your backup quarterback now who beat us last year, as we kind of mentioned.
Right.
You guys
But we should have been able to close that out.
You could see on Rodgers' face when he sat down, that was a veteran look who knew something serious had happened. Mm-hmm. He kind of held it together. I don't know if I've ever seen someone so calm sit down in an NFL game like that before. And I thought, maybe high ankle sprain, maybe something happened, but it was minor. Then he got basically helped off. Mm-hmm. Then he got carted to the locker room, and that was very close, number 2, to the biggest storyline yesterday, if you're not a Bills fan throughout the NFL.
Oh, it had to be. Had to be.
What you said was 4 plays, he's done for the season.
So it's really too bad, but I don't feel bad. Sorry. That could be any. It could be any. It could be Josh Allen next week. It could be anybody. Yeah. So that stinks, but life goes on.
Yeah, piggyback on that real fast. It could have been Josh Allen. It probably should have been Josh Allen. Because who decides to try to jump for a first down over linebackers 7 yards away?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. That guy was asking to get hurt the whole time. And if he keeps on playing like that, he will get hurt.
True, but he's not 40.
That's true.
So.
Yeah.
I did like the Jets' helmets last night. They looked Ken O'Brien-like.
Right.
Yeah.
And another random thing I noticed was it seemed like there was a lot of extra rubber pellets on that turf in the middle of the field. And I heard that Dak Prescott and Daniel Jones were covered head to toe in that stuff on the Sunday night game. and they must not have spread that around because it looked like Josh was slipping a little bit on the middle of the field there. But yeah, what a blow with Aaron Rodgers. For the most expensive snaps in the NFL, like ever. Like, what did they pay that guy?
Yeah,
4
and
snaps.
it's guaranteed money too. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
crazy.
good for him. The winner. I mean,
Yeah.
unreal.
That's probably a career. To tell you the truth. Does
Why
he really
would you come
Why
back?
would he come back?
Yeah.
I mean, just go
Well,
fix some
now
trees.
now the Jets can keep their first-round pick next year. So with the Packers,
Yeah,
the
the Packers
trade,
don't get it.
Aaron Rodgers would have to play 70% of the game of the season, or 65%, and now he won't. So the Packers don't get a first-round pick; they get, I don't know, second round, something like that.
So they got screwed
That's
too.
some damn good research, dude.
Well, I do what I do.
Before we get too far, let me go around the table and say who's here. I got Dennis to my left.
Go Bills.
Brendan's here, who wasn't here last week.
Hello.
Bill's here. He's just surveying the scene. And
Hello, everybody.
there he is. New guest, special guest, Chris B. I'll leave your last name out for privacy reasons.
Thank you. buddy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Good to
We're
be
coworkers.
here. Very good to be here.
And then Sean, our fact checker.
That's right. Here again for week 2. So excited to be here.
All right, Dennis, what do you want to hit us with first?
So I think the biggest thing from the Bills' point of view is Josh Allen. I feel like he makes the same mistakes over and over again, and you feel bad for the guy. He looks real dejected and stuff, but it just isn't getting any better. This is the 6th year, and you could play a game from the first year. It's like the same thing.
Yeah, it's almost like he's kind of gotten away with a lot of stuff in the past that in that game he just didn't. You know, those deep passes and the double coverage, you know, a lot of times we've, come up with that ball and just it wasn't even close in those passes. And those were ones, too, that it didn't look like there was that much pressure at that point on him as there were in some other plays. But yeah, it was rough. And the fumble is brutal. I think you just got to fall on that and just take it as it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even the center's fault. He just didn't catch a snap.
Yeah. Yeah, he looked very frazzled all night.
You can see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
Big time. I mean, it's just glazed over. Like, what the hell am I looking at?
Or was he just too juiced up? He does that. He gets a huge adrenaline rush before the game, and he just can't settle his nerves, and he does all kinds of crazy crap.
Well, I mean, he probably listened to our podcast. That's what happened.
I can only hope.
It's a pattern. We've seen Josh Allen. He takes on this mentality that he has to win the game for the entire team. He overcompensates. He does too much. He forces plays he has no business enforcing. My hot take that I could not escape from my brain was whatever the Bills need to get Tony Robbins to come to the sideline and talk him down. I saw Diggs. I really appreciated that Diggs was over there. I believe it was going to be the last drive in regulation, kind of really recognizing he needed to get him right and was talking with him. But it's the same thing. Josh is a top 3 quarterback in the best league in the world when he is on his game. When he is overcompensating, his mistakes are amplified, and there's no stop. There's no stopping it. And that's one of the biggest things he has got to clean up. That if you could take Rodgers' mentality and veteran experience with the body and the youth of Josh Allen, you would have the greatest quarterback ever. I'm sorry, Tom Brady.
You just described Patrick Mahomes.
I can't argue with his 2 rings. I can't. It's you're not wrong.
Well, Patrick Mahomes with Kelsey, maybe.
That's true. My fear is, since the Cleveland game of last year, we have seen this start trending for the Buffalo Bills. You saw it all the way through the end of the season. You saw it through the Patriots game last year. Last game of the season, they almost came back and beat us. We had 2 kickoff returns, 4 touchdowns. Okay, whatever. Way to win that game. You saw the Miami game. Got off to a big lead. Miami came right back with a 3rd-string quarterback. Bengals absolutely blown out. Everything's all good. I mean, you think everything's getting fixed, and the Bills are going to tell you everything's good. But I'm telling you, there's something wrong in that locker room. And that, actually, you know what? I take that back. I don't want to say in the locker room, but there's something going on with Josh. And it sucks that we keep on talking about Josh.
But you're not wrong. He's the guy that's getting paid the multi-millions. You have to carry this team on your shoulders, the good and the bad. You get all the accolades you get yourself on video game covers and because you are a top tier quarterback, but it goes both ways. When you lose the way we did in a very, very winnable game,
Zach Wilson
it does fall. It does absolutely fall to him. And I'll be honest, the most overrated game in any NFL season is Game 1. It is.
Oh, yeah.
If this is going to happen, then by all means, let it be in Game 1, not Game 14, where you're kind of tuning up. We saw a lot of NFL teams really look out of sorts. It was winnable. I think with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, if we're going into overtime, I think we're feeling a lot better about ourselves. But it was there for the taking. Jets defense was great, but the Bills, the Bills defense did pretty good. But when it was all said and done, the better quarterback didn't get the victory.
Is Josh getting too Hollywood? Honestly, I mean, does he want to make the biggest play?
I mean, it is a lot more than he had on his shoulders, a couple seasons ago. He's in every commercial during the game. He's on Madden covers now. He's, got an actress girlfriend now. I won't speak to any rumors of, what happened with his last girlfriend, if there's issues with that still going on. But
you see Herbert
there's
doing that? Lamar Jackson?
I don't know.
Mahomes.
Well, I'm just saying, can he not
you're
handle
right.
that
Everything
pressure?
you're saying is right.
Yeah,
yes.
can he not handle that pressure? I don't know.
I don't want to overreact because it is Game 1, but we've got a healthy sample size over 6 years, and I don't know if the trajectory is constantly going up. He's still a top 2, top 3, top 4, easily a top 5 quarterback in our league, but it's those hiccups that are really, really, really just they stand out.
So after we got done pistol whipping Josh Allen for about 5 minutes there, what else did anyone do? Is McDermott losing the team? Is he still loud? Is he still vocal? Is everyone listening to him? The defense, I'll give the defensive line hell of a credit. That pass rush was their run defense. Kyle, give it to me.
Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Guys can't tackle. Fundamentals since Pee Wee football. You got to tackle. And Trey White had one-on-one with Brees Hall a couple times, and he bounced off or slid right off him like he was covered in grease or oil or something. But two best tackles I saw were Milano when he blew through the line on that toss.
Oh, yeah.
Got him for that
Yeah,
loss.
that's beautiful.
Great
That's
play.
textbook.
And that's what I wanted Tremaine Edmonds to do when we had the guy, but he couldn't ever see that.
Didn't do it in Chicago either. Well, actually, he had one play in Chicago that I saw.
And then Trey White did have one tackle behind the line of scrimmage, which was nice. But then, you get lost when you see him blow big tackles on big plays. Because I thought in the first half the Jets really had no offense except for those two big runs. And somebody lost contain. I know that bothered you, Sean, last night. Guys lost contain often. I feel bad for Rousseau, man. He was fingertips away from several sacks, and they just couldn't get anyone down.
Yeah.
I don't know. Back to McDermott. I'm not a McDermott guy, but I don't know if he should. Give him a couple more games of calling plays, and we'll see. Maybe it's the cover 5 isn't working. It seems like the defensive line is getting upfield enough, but then they're not keeping their zones to make a play there. And then as soon as the back or whoever gets right behind them, you only have Milano. Milano's not there. Bernard, sorry. I know it's his first game, but he's not. I don't think he's the dude. And then once you get past that, none of the secondary are going to make big plays in open field.
They're waiting for Kingsley to come, aren't they? To be middle linebacker for the Texans. The guy from the Texans is Kingsley, right?
Oh, yeah. Kirksey, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're waiting for him to get up to speed to be middle linebacker, I'm guessing.
I think communication is big in that defense specifically. I think look at the back end. I think Bernard being young and all that has a lot to do with it. And I think some of the safeties maybe look a little old these days.
Oh,
Yeah.
Say that again.
Yeah. But Bernard showed some good speed, though, in that game. That was nice to see, because I think that's been one thing that we've been burned on, the past couple years. I mean, we went out there against Kansas City and Miami, and it was like you were 2 steps behind them. And, it was nice to see him have some speed. But like you said, he's young. He's still going to develop.
He I feel like he wasn't out of place, though. Like, there wasn't a time where I was like, what is he doing? Nothing like that, so that's good.
I don't think the defense cost them the game. I don't know how. Again, you knock out their quarterback. You change the trajectory of the Jets for an entire season. With that injury, I mean, you really, excuse me, you really did. I don't fear them like I did, unless they pull off some move. I really all of a sudden I woke up feeling miserable, but realizing that really it's a 2-horse race really between Miami and Buffalo from here on in. The Jets showed that their offense is exactly where it was last year, which was non-playoff contention, and you don't want to give up wins in a short season like this, But at the end of the day, you might have crippled your rival in your division.
Fun little fact: the Buffalo Bills have knocked out 2 legendary Green Bay Packer quarterbacks for the career.
Oh, that's
I
right.
just heard that today. Okay, so I did not make that up myself, but that is amazing.
Yeah.
Brett Favre.
I was at that Brett Favre
Minnesota.
game.
Yep.
On the offense, James Cook looks like he's going to be the main guy. He showed some great speed going around the corner in one play. It's almost like they want him to be between the tackle kind of running back, and I don't think he's that guy. You had Harris didn't show himself a lot. He one play. Kincaid looked good. Knox, got a couple looks. Gabe Davis, my man, he only got 1 look, but he made a nice play. Then you got these other guys, Shakir and who's the guy from Miami? Sherfield. Yeah. I don't. Were they just taking space up, just to get guys moving around and stuff? I don't know.
So it seems like to me.
Yeah, but offensive line against a really good D line, they got beat pretty good. They got manhandled.
Everything you just said about all those weapons we have, does that come back to Josh Allen once again? Were they schemed open at points and Josh just didn't throw? Didn't look their way? I mean, what does it come down to? Is it play calling or is it Josh Allen?
That's a good question. Is Dorsey calling his number or not? I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know what you guys thought about the balance between the pass game and the run game, but I thought there was no concern about the run game at all from the Jets. I think they knew that we were going to have to pass to win this game. I don't think the O-line is capable of having a strong running game behind it or providing the blocking for one.
They get no push.
Yeah, so it's like, sure, you can just double cover, you can just worry about the pass game, and, don't worry about the running backs.
I'd like to see a lot more short passes. Like they did that a little bit last night. Short passes is good. Gets the ball out quickly. You don't have to worry about Josh getting hit.
Just seems like.
Does Josh want that though? Will he actually do it? That is the problem. That is a huge problem.
The first drive, it looked like it.
Yes.
It does look like Josh is looking for the big home run every time. He doesn't get the line protection to let him sit back in the pocket for that long. He's got to be more like Tom Brady and these other quarterbacks that just dink and dunk and get rid of it quick. I think that'll make the defensive line play a little more honest and on their heels, because it's why they keep rushing if they're never going to get to the guy, But
what did you think about the play calling as far as once Aaron Rodgers went out, when they went for that field goal on 4th and 2 instead of just trying to go for it? Well, it was nothing. And it was like, what are we kicking a field goal here for? You just knocked Aaron Rodgers out. You know what you have there now. Why aren't we being more aggressive and just trusting the defense a little bit more?
I kind of like the field goal myself because I felt like we already talked about Josh Allen. He wasn't feeling it. So I feel like it wasn't.
But this was
wasn't
was early though. I mean, it was
Yeah.
0-0 still, and
Yeah.
there. I know in the broadcast they were like, "Oh, they get some points on the board." It's like, okay, now it's 3-0, big whoop. Like,
Yeah.
obviously field goals didn't win this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely had the ability. They had the potential to put points on the board. I had marked down the drive, one of the last ones of the third quarter, 1 minute 22 seconds. They're down and the Bills are in their end. And I had said it. They make a first down, they're going to go on and win the game. They get stopped, all bets are off. And they got stopped, short two, they punted. And from that point on, any momentum they had mustered was gone. Obviously, things could have changed. Obviously, win a coin toss, you go down, you score. But that still sticks with me. I just had a feeling at the time that if they can convert and keep a drive going, get in the fourth quarter, and put some points up, they can put the Jets out of reach. They're already demoralized with their quarterback out of the game. They looked like a team that really was on fumes in the first game of the season with that loss, and it was there, and we could not capitalize.
Bateman said the same thing.
We stole it from him.
Yeah.
He's pretty knowledgeable at football.
But he also said at halftime, he said the Jets were in trouble, and the second half was going to be scary, like the second half. Like he was thinking that the Bills were going to take off.
And it should have been. It really should have been.
I was thinking about that comment in overtime.
Absolutely.
I was like, he never could have predicted that.
Right. And it's a classic example of what often happens in Buffalo's. You have an opponent down, you shoot yourself in the foot, and now you let them back in the game, and that's what we did. It was arguably one of Josh's toughest, not to bring it back to him, but one of his toughest halves of his career against a division rival to start the season.
I think a good way to make sure that they don't give the game away so much is to know where the markers are for first downs. I saw it a few times yesterday about they catch the ball 2 yards below the first down, they go for it, and like it just seems like they don't want to get there. Like they can almost get it, but they just don't want to get it.
Well, and it's funny you brought that up because I was thinking very similar things. And when they were catching the ball, and this is really a credit to the Jets defense and their tackling, they were catching the ball. There'd be one guy to get to the sticks, and you're like, all right, he can, whoever the receiver is can battle through and get that first down. They were getting dropped. They were getting dropped short, and then more often than not, we didn't make the first down.
I know there was one time with James Cook towards the end of the game. I think we were in our own end, and it was like he needed 6 yards. He got 4, and the way he just went right for the sideline. He didn't even move up the field. So it just looked kind of weird to me that if you have a few of those that go your way, that you get the first down, then maybe don't you control the ball a little bit more.
Can we just say those 3 interceptions? Sorry, Josh. Those 3 were awful interceptions. They were absolute. I mean, like, what are you doing on that bomb?
I'm gonna give you
realize
both of them.
You could
Both
have
of them.
ran for a first down.
Yeah,
and there
yeah.
was nobody there.
Yeah, the interception doesn't. That one, the first one, does not hurt you as bad.
That's a
You
punt.
could, because it's a punt. In essence, you actually pinned him back to the 2.
That's what I said. He
3
did
yard
better
line.
than a punt would have done. Right there.
I didn't have a problem with that one, with the exception of the point you make is the fact that the first down was there. It was in reach, and then now you can keep controlling this game, and that's what you get after 6 years of being in the NFL. Is you have that mindset of, okay, short term, long term. Long term, if I can keep the ball in our hands for an extra 4 or 5 minutes, that might be the game in itself. And he went for the big play, and it didn't work. It wasn't the game. It wasn't. Well, that was the game that was the play that turned it around. But it was the start. It was a start.
The one Gabe Davis that hurt the most. That was bad.
Yeah.
Oh, the last one, yeah.
That really hurt.
Like watching it, I kind of wonder if Gabe Davis could have like fought a little bit more, or kind of cut his route off a little bit faster, a little bit sooner. I don't know. I guess hindsight,
Well, and that's what Aikman said. Aikman actually put the blame more on Gabe Davis for not selling the actual play.
You're right.
then actually, if he fakes more towards the center, gets the guy to go on the outside and take him, and then cuts into the side, he's going to pull that defender right out of the picture. So Aikman came to Josh Allen's defense on that one, and I'm not as technically savage, or I'm not really thinking like Troy Aikman is, or even Josh Allen is, but that was at least a good point to get Josh off the hook for that one. But he's still accountable for that.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw, it's his throw.
The things with Josh is that first interception, they call it, a punt. But if you paused it, there was like 8 or 9 yards of green, clean grass in front of him. And I've seen him take off with less in front of him and get just as much, out of it than with less. It made no sense as when he decides to go now, when he's not going, and even the coaches now asking him to you got to check yourself. Some of those runs I didn't understand. Like, you got 8 or 9 yards. Yeah, there was somebody within 9 yards, but Josh is a beast, and I think he could probably got it, but
And it is tough because that's also the thing you love about him too. Like all this
he's
stuff
the
is all
he's
the
the
stuff
factor,
that,
X factor.
He's all these things are the things that have made him Buffalo's golden child. The running, the jumping over defenders, the deep bombs to Stephon Diggs. But yeah,
Diggs had a great game.
yeah.
He's
What do you have? Half the yards? Half the
he was the
receiving
main guy.
yards, if not more?
He had every catch except for like 3 or 4 or 5. Because he knows how. It's like Josh doesn't know situational football anymore. Like, you got to realize where you are, when you are, what's going on in the game. And speaking of that too, Milano, I know it wasn't a big deal at the time, but maybe now it was. That stupid 15-yard penalty he took for taunting the guy that tackled him after he picked him off. I'm like,
Yeah, he's got to be
and
smarter
you get
than
3
that.
points out of it. Give yourself the team every
Right.
chance you can to score touchdowns to win. You know what I mean?
If they get 15 yards, maybe they get a touchdown that time.
It's very possible. I know, Sean, you disagreed with me at the time in the game about.
I did. I had no problem with the 15-yard taunt. I was comfortable. You have the starting quarterback. I'm sorry about that. You had the starting quarterback of the Jets knocked out. You had a quarterback come in who lost his position, whose confidence was not. He wasn't sure of himself. He throws an interception. He tries to tackle you, and now you are basically renting space in his head. You are now. The other quarterback is now going to be thinking about that pick off for the rest of the game. I had no problem with the 15-yard taunt because you're dropping it. You're dropping doubt into him. Yep. Could they have scored a field goal? Could they have scored a touchdown? Absolutely. I had no problem with the taunt, though. I had no problem with the 15-yard penalty at all.
It's a soft call. Let the guy play. He's excited. I mean, come on. Just,
Pass interference on Diggs was even worse.
That was bad.
The push-off
that
was bad.
That was
Yeah.
bad.
I don't know. The other thing is some of those interceptions he threw is just like blind, just truck it downfield and not even think about where it's going. I couldn't believe it.
It's heartbreaking. Monday Night Football, opening week, like, Buffalo, that's all we care about. Sucks. So,
But there's 16 more, so, I mean,
hey, we lost to
good
Pittsburgh
stuff.
2 years ago, and that was heartbreaking, kind of.
Yeah, I heard somebody make that argument, and the only thing I totally agree with it. I think that week 1, it's hard to judge because you barely played in the preseason. This is really your first whole game action. Look at all the other teams that struggled this week: Cincinnati, Minnesota, all those teams. The only thing I would say about Pittsburgh versus now, that was 2 seasons ago. Have we not grown since then?
Totally right. I was lying the whole time.
I think it depends on how they played, too. Like, they didn't play that well. So I feel like if we played well and lost, by a field goal or something, then, like, it's kind of like, what are you going to do? The Jets are good, a division opponent, but we didn't play that well at all.
Talk about that field goal at the end.
I had that down when they put the camera on Bass. He looked like he knew it all along. That was a fantastic kick it never goes that way. It never banks off and in and it. And I thought it was no goal. I
thought it was going
no
out.
good.
I thought we're done.
I thought
that was
the game's over. I double taked with the referees putting their hands up, and I'm like, he made that. And then they put the camera on him, and his body language and his face was, "You doubted me? How could you doubt me? I had it the entire time."
I guess what was demoralizing after that great clutch kick at the end of the game was that the Bills could finally put some rhythm together, a little momentum. They win the coin toss, 3 and out, punt, walk-off touchdown. I was like, what?
Well, from play 1 of that, Spencer Brown with the false start. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Are
talk
you
about.
kidding
Yeah.
me? That was terrible.
Spencer Brown had a bad game yesterday.
He's a bad player.
Well, he almost looked oh my God, he almost looked worse than Deion Dawkins did.
Yeah,
That
you know,
was
you didn't hear his name at all, Deion Dawkins.
He did
so-
not get a single holding penalty.
Yeah.
So
Surprising.
We all just need
Yeah,
to
I'll
get
clap
ready.
for that.
We all just need to get ready. You better take care of the Raiders. Just do it. It was
Uh-huh.
a bad game. It was prime time. Jets, New York, 9/11. You just take care of the Raiders. Let's go. Let's get back on track.
Destroy them, and then we're all, hey, we're good again.
Yeah, exactly. Short memory.
Yeah.
All right. I think we beat a dead horse there. They get the Raiders next week. Josh Jacobs. If I was the Raiders, I would just run him till his wheels fall off.
We can't stop it, so.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Great point. Why would you not?
Yeah. All right. Let's take a 2-second break, and we'll be right back. Let's get our predictions real quick for the Bills-Raiders game. As of today, the Bills are 9-point favorites.
Cool.
All right, well, I'll go first. I'm going to stick with the high-scoring games because I think that they have a decent offense. I think Josh is going to figure it out a little bit. So I think it'll be like maybe 38-35, pretty close. So we'll see.
Bills?
Oh, yeah, Bills.
Okay.
That seems too stressful, man.
No, I want to see high scoring. I think that Josh Allen can do it, and I think they're going to incorporate some like swing passes out of the backfield for James Cook, and I think they'll figure it out. Maybe even a defensive touchdown. We'll see.
I'm happy to go if you want. I think that they have a good rebound game. I think this was... Let's just chalk it up to week 1. All right, we get the offense back on track. I want to say 27-13 Bills. I think that the defense can figure it out as well. The Raiders have good players, but I think that we have better defense. I think that we have hopefully better depth as well. And first home game, home opener, 27-13 Bills.
Bill?
Well,
Warm up that voice.
again, the team that puts down more points will win. But to Brendan's point, with them being home, and maybe if Josh will get a little haircut this week, clean himself up, get a little more focused, tell Haley he'll see her after the season, maybe he can pull himself together.
Do you have a score?
Yeah. Let's do 17-12.
Who?
Raiders.
Oh, that's rough. That's
Wow.
rough.
All right, Chris, why don't you get in on this?
I'm going to go 42-16 Buffalo.
42 to 16.
I think our secondary is good enough to take care of their receivers. I think Josh Jacobs, he can run on us, get down the red zone. They're not going to be able to score. I think our offense is going to come out like gangbusters against the Raiders. The Raiders don't have anything. They have nothing on defense, and I think the Bills are pissed off. Home opener, probably know. Oh, very beautiful weather. Oh yeah, no, we're gonna absolutely kill them. Unfortunately. Well, unfortunately, that's a terrible comment. But no, I think we're just gonna do it. I really do. I think the Bills are pissed off, and that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, home field plays a significant role. They're going to be fired up. The Bills faithful will be energized again. I got the Bills winning 24-17. It's not going to be as close, I think, or I'm not looking for an overtime game, but I do think the Bills bounce back after a tough week one. Lessons learned. McDermott's good at kind of refocusing them, getting them ready for the next game, and I do see the Bills going 1-1 after 2 games.
All right, hot in off the facts. Skip is picking Raiders 21-17. Ouch.
I was just gonna say we were so optimistic.
We were. Devontae Adams, I feel like, is a really good player. And our guys looked a little slow and they couldn't tackle yesterday. So that might be kind of rough.
My prediction is going to be Bills 30, Raiders 17. And we'll wait for some other guys to send in and we'll recap at the end of that. All right, let's put football to rest. Let's get to pizza. The za part of the cast. All right. Today, we have Mattina's Pizzeria from Delaware Avenue in Tonawanda versus Dipaulo's Pizza on Brighton and Colvin by Kennyfield and the Airplane. All right, today's categories are going to be presentation, the crust / cook time if it's overdone or undercooked, cheese, sauce, and the toppings. Just to let you know, today Mattina's whole size, which I think is equivalent to most normal larges, is square cut 16 slices, and Apollo's is your standard pie with 8 large generous slices. Okay, Dennis, you're next to me. Why don't we start off presentation?
So I thought Dipaulo's looked better. I felt like the cheese meeting the crust worked out pretty well, I thought. And me personally, I like the pie cut a lot better than the squares myself.
So you think the slice geometrics affect taste?
I do. I mean, I didn't do a lot of geometry a whole lot, but I feel like the pizza pie slice is the way to go.
All right. Brendan?
Yeah, I think that the Dipaulo's is, a picture perfect. And if you're not following us on Instagram, you can go to the Za Bills podcast on Instagram and get a good look at that pizza, as well as Mattina's. It looks, like I said, picture perfect, perfectly circular, perfectly cut triangular pieces. Mattina's, it's no shot that they're not perfect on their slices. Sometimes that's redeeming quality. Just a very different look from Mattina's. Cheese all over the crust, sauce all over the crust. Barely any crust to be had because of that. So really a matter of preference. But if I had to say, hey, if I look up pizza in the dictionary, what's it going to look like? It's going to be Dipaulo's.
Absolutely. I'm with both Dennis and Brendan so far. I do like the Dipaulo's look. I like the little bit of crispy edges on the pepperonis, whatever you call that. You guys called something last week, and I can't remember what that word.
Cup and char.
Cup and char. There we go. The Mattina's looks like I'm at an elementary school Halloween party with little squares, and it's like the A lunch, and hey, put that, a couple of tater tots, and a little cup of cider, and off you go. So I'm with everybody so far on the traditional slices.
Okay, Chris, you're up.
Oh, that was good.
Hot take.
Yep. I'm all about the Dipaulo's, the original pizza, the original pizza look. I apologize. The cut pepperoni, I absolutely love it. The crust on the outside, so that's square, so you actually get crust everywhere. But I'm not gonna lie, Mattina's, if I'm at a party, that's the kind of pizza that I want because it's small slice, it's filling enough, and then you can go on and do what you got to do. So I cannot really blame Mattina's for what they do.
Okay, Sean.
I'm looking at both pizzas for the most part. I
don't mind the square or rectangle when it comes to it because you get the option of crust, no crust. Sometimes I don't want crust. Sometimes I just want the cheese and I want the sauce. So I have no problem with the way Mattina's puts theirs in a rectangle. Dipaulo's is just as fine. One of the things I did notice is the quantity that was left over. Maybe it's the way they cut it. Both pizzas are filling. You get a slice of Mattina's, you get a slice of Dipaulo's. They're both filling. They're both fantastic. The pepperonis I thought were too far. My bad. He's gonna cut that.
Slow down. All right, presentation. In my opinion, I like the Mattina's. I like that sloppy looking pizza that it's not coming out of the stamping plant, factory assembly line look. I like the differentiating look or I don't like the perfect symmetric. So I award my point in the presentation to Mattina's.
So no geometry there then, huh?
No. Algebra.
Too much math.
Yeah, I'm not good at the maths. Okay, next category will be the crust/cook. Dennis?
So for me, the crust for Dipaulo's was great. Mattina's doesn't really even have any, so I think that does the speaking for itself. And yeah, I like the crust at the end of the pizza. It's good stuff. Once again, the slice is the way to go, I think.
Okay, Brendan?
Yeah, I think with Dipaulo's, the cook was definitely, I don't know about length of time, but once it's finished, it's definitely a crispier crust. This piece stands up on its own. Mattina's is just a way softer, more undercooked slice, I'd say. Not a bad thing, but just that's where they differ. To me, the crust, I don't know if we're getting a taste of crust. I said the taste of crust for Dipaulo's, even though it's there, is lacking. It's more like almost like a breadstick.
Okay.
I said, once I got to it, I was like, I'd like some blue cheese to dip this in. So, but Mattina's, like I said, there's not really any crust there because it's kind of soft. Toppings, kind of overtook it, but still a good slice though.
Like bocce style crust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bill.
Okay, so in all fairness, I did get here a little bit late for the podcast, so the pizza had a chance to cool off, very similar to rigor mortis.
Coagulate.
But Brendan, I have to disagree with you as being a little bit older person here. The crust was a little bit softer for me in Mattina's, so I wouldn't have to beat up. And I definitely could hurt or hammer something with the top crust on Dipaulo's. So I'm going to stick with Mattina's for the crust on this one.
Okay. Chris.
I'm gonna go with Dipaulo's because I kind of like the crust, the crispy crust like that. I kind of like the traditional, like how the back end of it. So I like it. It seemed like it was good. Some little birdie told me that it seemed like Mattina's may have rushed their pizza into the box, and it might be it might just be kind of too soft. But even if Dipaulo's is kind of sitting around, because it might have been made a little bit earlier than I picked it up, that it seems like it forms well. But as you said about, it's not, you don't got the spices to it at all. It does seem just like a breadstick. Mm-hmm. So I do understand that. I'm going to give it to Dipaulo's.
All right, Sean. When it came to the crust, it's all right. This is a hot take, no take. I didn't really find the crust to be really that different at all. I didn't think it was a factor. I thought the crust was just fine at Mattina's. I thought the crust was just fine at Dipaulo's. They were actually quite similar at that. I really didn't have anything in terms of points for one or the other when it came to the crust.
So you're neutral on the crust for both. No points awarded.
No points.
Okay. So I'm a Bocce's fan, so I did like Mattina's crust better. Although the softer crust this week was more enjoyable because last week I partook or whatever you say that in the Pocky One Chip Challenge, and I ate 3/4 of a solid chip, and I think I have blisters in my mouth from eating that stupid thing.
Is it really that bad?
It's hot. It's hot. I think it melted some of my skin under my tongue and stuff. So it's a little hard to talk a lot and to chew and swallow at times. So I don't recommend getting it. This was before, sadly, that kid passed eating the chip, I guess. So yeah. So today I do like Mattina's softer crust. Like I said, I'm a fan of bocce, so that reminded me of that. Although Dipaulo's crust was crispy, which is a great thing too. But today, I think the style of the pizza that Mattina's makes, it's fitting to have that crust. I'll order that to Mattina's. Next is cheese, and take it away, Dennis.
So the cheese, like I was saying before, it came pretty close to the crust on the end of the pizza, and that's a big thing for me. The other big thing for me is that the cheese did not move like off of the pizza slice. So it's the small things in life, guys. So I like Dipaulo's better. I felt like Mattina's was very very messy. So like somebody said something about the being at a party. I personally would rather have Dipaulo's at a party because it's not as messy.
Okay, Brandon.
I'd say I agree with that analysis. It was definitely a lot more messy for Mattina's, but sometimes that's a good buffalo slice, I will say. If you're at home or you're sitting around doing a podcast and you got plenty of napkins, that's fine. And sometimes some of the best pizzas are a little more messy. I did like the taste of the cheese on the Dipaulo's a little bit better. It seemed like, and you could kind of see it, they had like a little more herbs maybe mixed in there. So I have a tough time picking one there because I kind of like the messy style, but also I kind of like the taste of the Dipaulo one.
Okay.
So I'm neutral.
All right. Bill.
Okay, so again, late, so things had set up a little bit, but I do like the thickness of the cheese on the Mattina's. I thought they were a little bit more generous with theirs. And at the end of the day, the ability to just grab that slice of cheese, pull it off all by itself, fold it up and jam it in. I don't need the crust, I don't need the pepperoni, I don't need anything. So I'm sticking with Mattina's on the cheese as well.
Okay. Chris.
The cheese is good at Mattina's. I do like it. I think it was the consistency over the slice, and that is what is skewing me over to Dipaulo's. So I don't know if I'm giving a exact representation of what it really is, but I'm gonna go Dipaulo's. I have to.
Okay. Sean.
I am a big fan of the oregano that Mattina's puts on their pizza. I'm all in favor of Mattina's when it comes to the cheese. Mattina's gets my vote.
All right. I also vote for Mattina's cheese. Looks like they have a little bit more on there, and wasn't as cooked, which will then come into the two categories when we get to toppings with the cup and char, but I did like it cheesier, looser, wetter, sloppier. I love a sloppy pizza. I don't like trim and proper. So I'm going to go with Mattina's on that one.
Oh, you love sloppy, don't you?
Yes, I love it sloppy. You like them sloppy? Dennis, sauce.
So I like the sauce at Mattina's better. It had more of a, I feel like, unique taste than Dipaulo's. That's
Okay.
about it.
All right, this won't be a long category, I'm sure. Brendan.
Definitely Mattina's for me. I'm a sweet sauce guy, and it was much sweeter than Dipaulo's, I thought. There was also more of it, I will say. It seemed, at least on the slice I got. Dipaulo's, yeah, it's put together. It's got a sufficient amount of sauce to be, political. But I'd say the more sauce and the sweeter sauce on Mattina's got my vote.
All right. Bill.
Sweet for me as well. It almost, Mattina's almost reminded me of, looked like it had some Parm cheese in it, almost like the old Bozana's, if anybody remembers Bozana's out in Clarence.
Oh, yeah.
Missed that place big time. But, yeah, I will stick with Mattina's for the sauce. Dipaulo's, that's a little too spicy for me. It's going to hurt later.
Okay. Chris.
Hey, Bill is a guy that knows what he's talking about with sauces. Okay, it's Mattina's for me, 100%. I like the sweetness of it. Dipaulo's does not have that much sauce, it seems. It seems like it's more cheese, bread, and a little bit of sauce. I understand that. So, Mattina's, 100% you win that one.
All right, Sean.
Really no change here. I like the sweet sauce. Brett and Bill both hit it right on the head. I've got no problem. Matina's gets my vote when it comes to sauce.
All right, I sixth the sauce for Matina's. I like the sweeter sauce. They put an ample amount on there, so I like that one. Toppings, Dennis, hit it.
Well, I would have to go with Dipaulo's. They were pretty similar, though, honestly. Like, the pepperonis pretty much look the same, and we already talked about the cheese a little bit. But, I guess the tiebreaker goes to Dipaulo's.
Brendan.
Yeah, for me, I did think that most of the pepperonis were similar. Definitely both, cup and char style, similar look. But I did like the Mattinas. I kind of like when they have some wonky looking pepperonis that are like cut like a little awkwardly. And, my slice had, some ones that were like a little more oblate than than a normal perfect circular slice.
Yeah.
So I had to go with Mattinas on that one.
All right, Bill.
I'm sticking with Mattina's for that as well. The toppings between the pepperoni and the sauce. Despite my dislike of the square cut, it is nice because they kind of fall in different spots. You end up grabbing somebody else's pepperoni, and you're like, oh, screw you, next guy.
Bonus Ronies.
Bonus Roni.
All right, Chris.
I'm a cup guy, so Dipaulo's.
Okay. Sean.
I had a clean sweep, with the exception of the pepperonis for Matina's. I looked it over and I saw per capita. I saw that Dipaulo's had more pepperoni per slice than Matina's had to offer.
I do agree that Dipaulo's did have, it looked like a denser population of the pepperoni. I do agree with Brendan how there's some cup and char, some not as cup and char, none cup and char. Looks like there's bologna cuts, there's, normal circulars. I do like the Dipaulo's. It's uniformly cup and charred. One side to one side. I like that. So I'm going to give the pepperonis to Dipaulo's on this one. So let's add up our totals and go around and pick our favorite. Dennis, hit us.
So for me, Dipaulo's, I felt like the crust and then the cheese ratio, meat and the crust, and not sliding off, that was big to me. And the sauce was from Matina's, but overall Dipaulo's definitely.
All right, Brendan.
For me, it was close, but the sauce for Matina's wins me over. Love a sweet sauce. I don't care so much about the crust being there. It's nice to look at, but if it's going to be there, it better be a good crust that makes me want to eat it. And I would say it was a little plain Jane for Dipaulo, so win goes to Matina's for me.
Okay, Bill.
Sauce and cheese tipped me over the edge for Matina's. I don't think I'd ever had it before, but definitely willing to go back for more on those.
Chris, I've kind of tabulated your categories, and I have a guess. Let's hear it.
I think sauce is probably one of the most important things about a pizza, and I think that would be Matina's. But I think everything else about the pizza that I thoroughly enjoy by myself, I'm going to go to Dipaulo's.
Okay. Sean.
I think when everything is said, I totaled up my score. I have Matina's with the win in the categories. I will both say both pizzas were filling. You get a slice of Matina's, you get a slice of Dipaulo's. You're gonna get filled up. They were both really good pizzas. But when everything is said and done, I like the sweet sauce. I thought the cheese was good. Matina's gets my vote.
All right, that's 3-2. Today, September 12th, 2023, I'm going to pick Matina's. Like everyone said, equal pizzas, whatever, depends on the day, I guess. But they're both a good quality buffalo pizza. They're not like sub-frozen pizza like somebody last week said. But
Sean was much nicer to both the pizza sponsors today.
Yes, he was. All right, so I'm going Matina's. That's 4-2. Both a good quality pizza. I would get either or if they're at a party. I do concur with they're both a dense pizza, like that's not thin and by any means. So yeah, we'll Mattina's today. That's going to probably wrap us up today. All I'll say is that if you were here for the pizza reviews only, I would skip the first 30 minutes. And the pizza's at the end today. And oh, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. This is the end of the episode, so you're not going to hear that till the end.
That's all right.
So if you made this far, thanks. And, yeah, have a good one. All right. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Bills, baby. No. You guys say it.
Dipaulo's is way better than Mattina's pizza.
All right, that's my son. Adding one more. Is your brother around? Does he want to get on this?
No, he's outside somewhere.
Oh, all right. Close. 4-3. I mean, they're very equally matched.